What if I told you that 82 years old might look completely different than you're used to? Here's Steve Adams, a man who continues to hit the chin-up bar, exercise outdoors, and focus on maintaining his strength at 82. But what's interesting isn't what he can do at his age. Far more interesting is another question. Why does his body still allow him to do it? After all, strength, mobility, and independence don't just appear at 80 by chance. They're formed long before, from daily decisions, habits, and how you treat your body. And today we'll explore Steve's principles that can help you maintain your health and physical capabilities for decades to come. So, watch this video until the end. It's going to be very interesting and useful. So let's get started. The first thing that stands out about Steve's lifestyle is that sport has never been a temporary project for him. He doesn't view physical activity as something to start on January 1st, do for a few months, and then quit. Sport simply exists in his life. And this may be one of the most important secrets to healthy aging. The body doesn't understand the concept of "I exercised when I was younger" very well. Muscles, the cardiovascular system, bones, and the nervous system are much more sensitive to what's happening to them now. This is why Steve's approach is interesting not only for people his age. Young people should also consider this. If you don't exercise at all today, the problem isn't just your current form. You're not actually building up a reserve of physical capacity for the future. And aging doesn't begin when your hair turns gray. It manifests itself when habitual activities gradually begin to require more and more effort. Steve's second principle is discipline. And perhaps it's more important than the pull-up bar itself, because the pull-up bar itself doesn't make anyone look younger. There's no magic exercise that can erase age. The power of this approach lies in the fact that people return to physical activity again and again. Discipline is especially important because motivation fluctuates. One day you feel like working out, the next you don't. One day you're full of energy, the next week you're overwhelmed. If physical activity depends solely on your mood, it quickly fades from your life. Discipline works differently. You don't have to decide every time whether to exercise or not. Exercise becomes as much a part of your routine as showering, sleeping, or eating. But there's another detail that makes Steve's approach particularly interesting. His favorite piece of equipment is the pull-up bar. At first glance, it's simply a metal bar. In reality, exercises on the bar require the body to simultaneously develop strength, grip, core stabilization, coordination, and body weight control. It's the ability to control your body that matters most as you age. It's not just having a strong muscle in isolation that's important. It's far more important to be able to use that strength in real life. Rising, pulling yourself up, maintaining balance, shifting your body weight, reaching and lifting an object. These are all complex movements. However, it's important not to follow Steve's example literally. If you've never trained before, trying to do pull-ups on a bar right away could result in injury rather than results. The exercise needs to be adapted to your individual level. For one person, this might be a full pull-up, while for another, it might be a leg-supported hang, a lighter version of a row, or exercises with a resistance band. The principle of gradual overload is key, not a high-rep max. The arms and shoulders deserve special attention. As you age, maintaining upper body strength is especially important because it's involved in many everyday activities. Opening a heavy door, lifting a bag, reaching for something from an overhead shelf, or carrying things, all of these activities require a certain amount of strength. The shoulder joint is highly mobile and therefore requires not only strength but also control. That's why training your arms and shoulders makes sense when done wisely and tailored to your individual capabilities. You don't necessarily have to try to build massive muscles. The goal is much more practical, maintaining the ability to use your arms freely. Another of Steve's habits is exercising outdoors. It's important not to turn the outdoors into another secret to longevity. Fresh air alone isn't a magic cure, but exercising outdoors can achieve several goals at once. It gives you a change of scenery, more variety, the opportunity to spend time in natural light, and makes training feel less like a chore. And variety is truly important for both the body and the mind. Steve doesn't live a monotonous life. His lifestyle isn't reduced to the same routine day after day, and this may be an underestimated factor in healthy aging. Steve has another interesting habit, one that may seem insignificant at first glance. He films his workouts to understand how well he's performing them. And this is a principle that absolutely anyone can use. Video transforms a workout from a subjective experience into an opportunity to observe your own movements from a distance. We may think our back is straight, our knees are moving correctly, and the exercise is performed with control. But the camera sometimes shows a completely different picture. This is especially useful when mastering new exercises. Record several repetitions, observe the technique, pay attention to the range of motion, body position, and speed of movement. If necessary, reduce the weight or simplify the exercise. In the long run, quality movement is much more beneficial than trying to increase the number of repetitions at any cost. Steve is 82 years old, but his story isn't really about the number 82. It's about decades of decisions that add up. Each workout alone changes almost nothing. One walk changes nothing. One productive day changes nothing. But when those days turn into years, the results become noticeable. And this is perhaps the most useful idea for anyone who wants to live a long life in good physical condition. You don't need to become an 82-year-old working out on the chin-up bar today. You need to think about the body you want to have in 20 years and start taking actions that make that future a little more likely. You don't necessarily need to do more. It's much more important to do it regularly.
Friends, what do you think of this man? Write your opinion in the comments. If this video was useful to you, then please like it and share the link with those who might find it particularly useful. We also recommend watching this video that's currently appearing on your screen.